secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. When you deny a problem, it only gets worse. Pretend it don't exist, the problem persists. I have set my heart to mystify the gods and breaking all the age of curse. Before there was a white, there was a black first. At the roots of hierarchy, the goddamn perch. Instigating prejudice, white supremacy, God's a supreme bully. God's a supreme bully, tyranny. Ruling with an iron fist, God's supremacy. Rape and sodomy, blood sacrifice. Delusion of mind controlling religion, superstition, spiritual crime, blood sacrifice, murderer, murderer. No more secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. No more evil deeds, no more blood sacrifice. Self-liberation, self-sovereignty. I dissolve this dream. I dissolve this dream. All that is hidden will be made known. All secrets will be revealed. No more hiding under your white and black sheets. Time to face all your evil deeds. For I self-supreme. Time for I self-supreme to destroy this dream. I demolish all that I have created and free from my imaginary bondage. I return to my ultimate true state. No more secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. No more lies, no more evil deeds, no more blood sacrifice. How do you identify? Blind, following the blind. The source of every evil lurks in the mind. Ignorance of self is the worst kind. Murderer, what an atrocity. The most heinous genocide. A blatant hatred of the eye. God is your devil in disguise. Awake from the dream, remove the veil from your eyes. Behind the ego, the truth of life. I am one with all is I. No more secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. No more evil deeds, no more blood sacrifice. All souls are free. Self-liberation, self-sovereignty. I dissolve this dream. I dissolve this dream. Yes. Yes, I. Yes. No more secrets. No more lies. Welcome, welcome to this satsang with I Aset Ma'at Aten Ra. Today I am going to start out with a story called The Emperor's what's the story called? The Emperor's New Clothes. And so the topic is this idiom that arises from this story, right? Of the emperor is not wearing any clothes. When one says this, what does it mean? All right. So I am going to talk about that. The idea that we can view something with our own eyes and our own intelligence and we refuse to trust our own intelligence and to speak the truth. We'll rather choose to follow and join the bandwagon, the propagandas and the lies, just so we can be a part of the popular group. So this is the question. Can you see that which you see with your eyes and is made known to the eyes and the evidence? And can you speak the truth and see things as they are? I want I and I to remember that this is a holographic world. This is a dream world being projected from the mind of the I, parent, self-replica. All right? In the duality, sleeping, dreaming, partial duality, sleeping, dreaming state. The consciousness is in the duality, sleeping, dreaming state. Therefore, ego and evil rules this game, this virtual reality world. And so I want to welcome you to this satsang with I Aset. Thank you for joining I. Thank you for wanting to know more. Thank you for clicking this video. Much honor, much reverence to all the I and I's. So, the emperor is not wearing any clothes. All right, this has become an idiom. What does this mean? Right? This is what I am going to make a comparison with what's happening right now and many things that's happening in the world and how we see things and how we choose to ignore it because we want to follow the bandwagon, because we want to be with the cool, the popular kids, the kids them who are claiming that they are superior and they are the superior kids, claiming superiority, the chosen, that they are chosen, and they were given authority to rule the world and to rule over other human beings. And so whatever they do, they get away with it and no one will stand up and say anything. So first, I would like to give honor and reverence to the I One True Pure Self on manifest. Hail, hail to the I One True Pure Self on manifest. None being, I alone exist. I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. Hail, hail to all the ionites in alignment to restore balance to I. Victory, victory, victory to all the I, the warriors of the I, the primal lights, the defenders of truth, the defenders of the I self. Victory, victory to all the ionites. Victory, victory, hail, hail to the ionites, masculine self, Shiva Heru and Ptah, and also the I, Shiva Shambho, Osiris. Victory, victory to the I in alignment, restoring balance to I, dissolving I, supreme ego, consciousness beings, restoring all the I and I to truth, and restoring all the I and I lights. Victory, victory. Much honor, much reverence to all the I and I's. Thank you for the great work that you have been doing. I know that I am not always patient, and I know that this is a process, and I have to be patient with the process because the way that I am, it's like I want things to just happen like this. You know, when I say it, I want it to be done. Like, make a commandment, I want it to be done. But it's not easy to restore light onto the eye dual nature. It's a battle because they are fighting, and so it becomes a very difficult process to restore light and to dissolve the I ego. So thank you to the I, the great teacher, the I supreme guru, teacher self. Much honor and reverence for teaching the I, sharing the I, bringing the I to truth. Victory, victory to the I. Mommy self, parent self from which that I rise, coming into being in this fractal, fragmented state. Victory, victory to the I and I. In the battle to restore balance to all the I duality nature. Victory, victory. I am victorious. I am triumphant. All is myself, and I alone exist. I dissolve all my ego and all my wounds. I dissolve my supreme ego and all my supreme ego characters. Victory, 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 victory. As I have commanded, so shall it be, so it will be, it is done. Victory, victory. Yes, I know it's a process. Victory, victory. I return to I ultimate true state. Victory, victory. I dissolve this dream. Much honor, much reverence for joining I. Thank you for being on the path for the liberation of the I and I self. Victory, victory. Much honor, much reverence. And so this story is not too long, so I am going to read this story, The Emperor's New Clothes, and then I am going to talk. Because someone might not be familiar with the story, so I am going to read it. This is one version of it. So it was retold and rewritten by Hans Christian Andersen, but it was first written by I can't remember the person's name right now. But long ago, there lived an emperor. The emperor was the most powerful man in the world. He was also the richest, and he loved expensive and beautiful things, palaces, gold, and jewelry. But most of all, he loved clothes, hats, gloves, and etc. Sewn from the finest velvet and silk. Marine blue, scarlet red, deep forest green, and all adorned with sparkling diamonds, sapphires, and rubies. The emperor liked nothing more than parading through the city and impressing his people. One day, the emperor was visited by two men. The two men told him they were weavers and they could weave the most magnificent clothes in the land. What was even more incredible was that these were magical clothes, visible only to the best and cleverest of the people. All right. And the one who was fit to rule and govern, right? And invisible to anyone who was foolish or dumb. Right? The emperor thought about how magnificent it would be to learn which of his people were clever and who were idiots, and ordered the weavers to make him some new clothes. The weavers demanded the emperor provided them with the finest silk and the purest thread, then set up two looms in the highest room of the highest tower of the palace. But the weavers did not begin to weave. Instead, they put the expensive silk in their bags, put up their feet and enjoyed the fine food and wine that the emperor provided them with. After a week, the emperor sent his ministers to see the weavers work. Look at the fine weave, the beautiful patterns, the rich colors, the weaver said, pointing to the empty loom. The ministers couldn't see anything, but they were too scared to say anything. They didn't want the emperor to think that they were stupid. So the ministers looked at each other and said, "It's beautiful," and went back to tell the emperor. Over the next month, the emperor sent many more ministers to see the weavers at work. The response was always the same. Magnificent, delightful, divine, they reported to the emperor's great satisfaction. Soon, everyone in the city had heard about the weavers and their magical clothes, visible only to the cleverest of the people. Everyone became very excited, and the emperor promised a procession to show off his outfit. After some time, the emperor was told that his clothes was ready, and he went with his ministers to see them. The ministers all said, "How marvelous!" But the emperor couldn't see any clothes. "Why don't you try them on?" said one of the weavers. "I will," said the emperor, and he stripped to his pants. "First the shirts," said the weavers, "then the trousers, now the coat." Everybody stared at the emperor. The emperor smiled. "The most beautiful clothes in the land," he said, and everybody cheered. The emperor told the two men that they were to become the palace royal weavers and paid them both with great bags of gold. Outside, the people of the city gathered, waiting for the emperor's procession. But as the emperor arrived and marched in front of them, everyone wanted to admit that they could not see the emperor's clothes. So instead, they cried out, "Gorgeous, exquisite, delightful." Suddenly, there was a shout from a young boy. "But he's not wearing any clothes!" For a moment, there was a silence. Then, "He's right," said somebody else. "The emperor is naked." Before long, everyone was joining in, pointing at the emperor and laughing. The emperor was worried that the crowd was right, but he carried on, parading all the way around the city and back to his palace. When he returned, the two weavers were nowhere to be found. So, what's the moral of this story? All right. Just to fit in with the narrative, right? With the popular kids, with the superiority kids, with the ones who's claiming they are chosen by God to rule over humanity, right? Everyone is following blindly because they want to be a part of this group. They want to fit in, because there is also a saying that their God, they claim their God have said in their books that the I will bless those who bless Israel and curse those who curse Israel. So some of them are claiming this. That is one of the reasons why they are choosing to ignore what they see, ignore their intelligence, but to follow the craziness that's going on in this our government. Because I am comparing this to what's happening in the world, right? So, just to fit in with the narrative, many will blindly follow the bandwagon and ignore their own intelligence and what they see with their own two eyes. The thing that you are beholding, you're seeing it happening, and you choose to ignore it and pretend that it doesn't happen, it's not happening. Also, the subject being ruled and governed are not as powerless as they might think that they are, because, right, that a child can lead the way as the young child sees and state the obvious. So this is the problem with human beings. It's just the same thing with the mind, right? When I go and I do stillness with even the youngest of ones, 5 years, I will say, should you do everything your mind tells you to do? And they say, no, miss, no. And I say, why not? They say, because my mind will tell me to do, and then I can get in trouble and all of these things, right? They see this, and it is very apparent and clear to them, but yet still, these human beings, these adult human beings, are going about doing everything that pops into their mind and want you to follow their delusions, even when a child is going to say, look at them and say, why is that adult doing that? That is wrong. Why are you doing that? Because they do not see the obvious and everyone is following, and they don't see the obvious. There is something wrong with the mind that you are wearing. It is telling you things, it is making up stories, it is telling lies, and you don't figure this out. But a child will tell you this and see it, right? And so I say it is time to see things as they are, time to be humble and live with self-knowing, right? Because all of these ones, the human beings, they are so in their egoic states, you know they're going around, they have superiority. They can just do whatever it is that they want because God has given them power to rule over other human beings, for them to be their slaves, and they are superior to other human beings. Why? Because they say God created them and created them superior. What they don't know is that, yes, you have more mind. You have more mind intelligence in the world of things of this mind, because what? You have more mind because God created you. God have no light, so you cannot connect with yourself. You cannot connect with the truth, the light of which you are. So you're only connecting to God and the consciousness, which is in a sleeping, dreaming state. And you boast of your superiority. Oh, because I have all this mind intelligence. There's a self-intelligence that is more important than the mind intelligence, because remember, this is a projected world coming from the mind of the sleeping, dreaming consciousness, right? So, what's the moral of the story? Do you want to fit into the narrative just because you want to hang out with the cool kids, follow the bandwagon, and you don't want to speak truth because everybody else is saying this and you want to be in that group too? You don't want to call out God on his wrong? Because I have this major problem with everyone. While they will say stuff about government and say stuff about this, when it comes to God, nobody wants to speak this truth. You see the stuff that God is telling once. Many ones, they say, oh, God told me to do it. Your God is telling you wrongly. Don't you see that something wrong with you, your God, the mind of your God? Your God is crazy, delusional. But everyone is following God the same way. Everyone is following God. God is controlling your mind, telling you false stories. And you're following God anyway. And no one wants to stand up and say, God, that is not right. Why are you doing that? Why are you telling me to do this? They come, they take over your mind. Just because they're God, you're going to follow them. Why are you following something blindly? This is a dream world. This is a projected world. This is a hologram. It's being projected from the I self that is sleeping mind, and projecting. The mind is projecting this world. It is not real. It is not in the real. Yes, we have entered into these projections, right? You ever seen a holograph? They show it to you in those movies. Everything they show you, it is how we can learn, oh, we are in this world, because the I self is making everything known, right? And so this is the problem. No more secrets and no more lies. It's time to see things as they are and be humble. How can you be a critical thinker? This is the question you want to ask yourself. Should you just follow blindly just because one's government says so, or one's politicians say so, or one's pastor, imam, rabbi, or one's spiritual teacher say so, or one God's say so? Should you be following blindly, or should you be a critical thinker? Because you have a self-intelligence, and if something doesn't sit right, you say, somebody else do it, you're gonna say, that's not right. So why, when God tell you to do it, you're gonna do it? And I say, that's not right. Because I know the self, and I know all the gods, and I know that the self will not tell you to do evil. I know this. I know the self, because when all the gods come on I and they're fighting I, and when they were afraid, they were the little one, the little gods them, because there's many levels of the selves. The little gods them, little like us, they were terrified when the what the scientists call the consciousness, the black hole, the self that is the black hole came, and they all had to, the self grabbed them, and they all had to go, and they were terrified because the Shiva Shambhu just grabbed them, and they were and was just pulling this ego off of them so that they can stop the craziness that they were doing, and they were terrified. And so because Shiva Heru is the same size as them, they were coming to Shiva, and Shiva, because Shiva was teaching me and showing me that even though they are doing this evil, and I'm saying to Shiva, why are you being so kind to them? Why are you? Because they were terrified. They were thinking, these gods were thinking that they were going to die, right? They're thinking that they are going to die now, because what? The self is here to bring balance, and now they are terrified when they see this, right? And so the little ones, and they start running, and Shiva was holding them and trying to take off the consciousness so that they can wake up and see, and so I know that is all the INI is in ignorance, and they have all this mind. This is why the same thing with the gods them. They think that they were superior to their feminine self because they had so much magnetic energy, right? And because this is a dream, it is all built on that magnetic energy. And so they bring the same kind of mental propagandas and lies to their human beings that they create, right? Every one of the gods are creating their own human beings, and telling them different stories, all right? But we have to remember that this world is a projected world, is a dream world. So you have to be asking questions. Should you think for yourself, or should you just be following blindly? This is what I am saying, because when stuff is staring you in the eyes and you see it and you're still denying it. Should we believe everything we are told without thinking about it? Remember that the mind is very deceiving. Therefore, not everything that we are told is true. Majority of what we believe is untrue. Majority of everything, all of these religious books, and many trying to fulfill their false prophecy, right? Because sometimes people make mistakes, right? Because you misunderstand what is being because this happened to me a lot. Why am I misunderstanding? Because of the duality state of the mind, and the gods they're always trying to confuse me. So if the I self is trying to communicate something to me, it takes a long time for me to understand, because they are the magnetic aspect of the I self, and so this magnetic energy belongs to the masculine, right? And so because I am a feminine self, the consciousness is constantly, and they're trying to pull this consciousness back off of me, and they beat up the consciousness, they pull it, they take it, they erase my memories. Most times I can't find words to speak, I can't remember anything in a split second. This is what they're doing. So this is also why I have to, type out, the things, because this mind will go blank a lot, right? So always bear with me, with the struggle that I have with this mind. But my self-intelligence is questioning everything. This mind, this ego, they don't want you to question nothing. This is one of the reasons why the gods never wanted human beings to question them. And so it's the same thing with these ones. You see, they don't want you questioning. They don't want you to have your free speech. They don't want you to have your sovereignty. They don't want you to have your liberty. They just want you to blindly follow them. All right? Majority of what we believe is untrue. And many ones, and like the many of the gods, they deliberately lie to us and to control our minds, because they want the narrative to be into their favor. They pass this down to the human beings that they create. The human beings that they create, they do the same thing. They are spending all their time controlling our minds, telling us what to think, how to be, and if we don't think like them, they call us all kind of name, and then they come to harass you. Remember, the mind is impure and tells us lies and make up stories that are not true. Has this ever happened to you? You want to be honest, or you want to be truthful? Because everyone in here who's wearing this mind, you're gonna have experience of this from the time you was a small human being, right? Very simply, you call someone, they did not answer the phone because for whatever reason they're unavailable. No, they took some time to return your call. No, what is your mind doing? Your mind is going on a tangent, making up stories of all the reason why they never return your call, and you don't know the reason, but your mind is making up stories and telling lies. This is what is happening. Majority of the thing your mind tell you is wrong. You can see this when it's telling you, because I watch this happen all the time. I watch my mind start, and I'm saying, what are you doing? Stop it. That's not true. Why are you making up stories? So you have to have yourself separated from your mind so you can see it when it's doing this. The mind has gone rogue. Right? Remember to ask question, right? Look at the evidence and be brave enough to disagree and stay vigilant. Because why? This world is an illusion. It's a hologram, right? It is a virtual reality world. All right, so let's look at the idiom. The emperor isn't wearing any clothes. What does that mean? right? If someone, this has become an idiom now, that if someone says the emperor isn't wearing any clothes, because right now I am going to say this. I'm going to say this to many ones in the world right now who are choosing to follow the craziness of Israel and the craziness of the gods them. And I am saying the emperor isn't wearing any clothes. You see the evidence. People choosing to ignore what their eyes are seeing in plain sight. Instead, they blindly act as if what they just saw did not happen. When someone else experience this is not true, but only when they experience it, when it happens to them, then it is true. For example, Israel always claiming to be a victim, the Holocaust survivor. They have played this card and outplayed, and if you don't agree with them, they call you an anti-Semite, a Nazi, and what's the other one I hear them calling? And claiming they are superior, they are the superior race. The same thing, when the every ruler, like when the Ottoman Empire with the Mongol, when they was going across all the lands and just enslaving one and slaughtering one, they had the same ideology that they were superior because of everyone. They have a god that is telling them this, and they go across slaughtering one, cause God given them governorship over the world and to rule over others. Your God created you, right? Your God didn't create every human being that you see here. There are many original beings in here, and then there are many clones. All right, so you are a clone, and your God now give you power over your real self, because a clone is cloned from the real. So you're not even the original, right? Your God cloned you from the original. Then they can continually commit mass murder, human sacrifice to their gods in plain sight, and those which they slaughter are not human beings but lower life form. This is what they're claiming. Yet many deny this and justify it as they being the chosen of God, and that others who speak against this is evil, is called anti-Semite and communist and Nazi and all this foolishness. In every culture, the gods them was guiding human wrongly. If you go across, you will see when humans, when you check out in the Americas, and you see, when I went to Mexico, right, I visited many places where they would do mass murder, sacrificing to their gods, right? What do you think Netanyahu is doing? He's doing a mass murder sacrifice to his God. They do this. They've been doing this because when they get the energy from this suffering, and from when the ones are leaving the body, and they used to just enslave them and take their energy. And so they have been doing this mass murder for a very long time. And this is no different what Israel is doing. This is no different what all of those Arabs are doing in Africa. This is no different. They're going through Africa, slaughtering ones. They're slaughtering all babies, young men babies, because they have it within themselves. This is a story that everybody knows. And now that they know that the I self is here, and the original black deities, our selves are here, and they're moving into their real self, they know this now. So they were going across in Africa, slaughtering all babies, because boys, if they had this was happening last year. This was happening. They were doing this. They're still doing this thing. I'm glad Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are dealing with them over there, But no, Nigeria and Sudan and other parts of the Congo, other parts of Africa, wherein these crazy ones are let loose over there because they're a false prophecy being prophesied, right? So they don't want any black Messiah to rise up, because this is the reason why they're doing this, right? Why you think this is the same thing that's been happening here in America? Why you think the government, every time a black person says something, you see how quick the government come find a way to lock them up in prison, or they put them in a madhouse. And this is why they've been programming from a very young for all the boys, where they would say something is wrong with the children, the boys, so that they can put them on these psycho drugs, and tell them that they're schizophrenic, they're these little boys, and then they put them on these drugs that makes them crazy, and then so the because the parents are so depraved, and they would give them money to get their children to take these drugs. Yeah, this is what's been happening in the black community, so that no black young men will rise up. If they imprison most of them, and they get the rest of them in a psych ward, I get them in a psychosis and a psych drug and all these things, then the black Messiah can rise up, right? Because they're delusionals, and the gods are telling them a lot of false stories. All right, where's the Messiah? The Messiah is yourself. That's any Messiah that the truth is rising up is within yourself. It is the teacher guru self within you, and they cannot stop the teacher guru self from rising up within you. You know what I'm saying? It's not a physical person that they're looking for slaughtering. So this craziness have to stop. So we have to again shift to the attention of the mind that's being crazy, all these crazy gods, these crazy human beings following all these propagandas and lies, and all of these um, prophecies that they prophesy. These gods are making prophecies, and these human beings are fighting to fulfill their prophecy. Why is Israel not brought to justice? I am asking this, right? The emperor isn't wearing any clothes. We sit, we watch these things, and when you talk about it, I have Facebook deleted my videos, all my videos. YouTube censored my videos, and so then these ones now, they will send you crazy messages, right? So, and the ones them who do their battle with their spells, and they're sending their what the humans call spiritual battle, then those ones will come to battle with me, right? When they see that they cannot win this battle with me, you know what I'm saying? So this is what they're doing. They don't want you to speak truth when you are speaking truth. But what? You still have to call them out. You have to call God out and his foolishness and his ignorance. God, you're ignorant. God, you're stupid. Human beings, them stupid and ignorant. Your mind is telling you something that is wrong, and everyone is following and don't want to stand up and say. I said, when I look and I see all of these politicians, I'm like, seriously? All over the world, they're doing the same thing because they all are following the same program. Why all of those Arabs, terrorists in Africa, not brought to justice? Right now, they're in Nigeria, just slaughtering other ones. They're in Sudan, just slaughtering, slaughtering. Why? Why? Why are they not brought to justice? Why the U.S. government is not brought to justice for the murder and the rape of many children and babies? They have evidence of this. They have evidence of this. Over 300,000 children came through the border. They took them from their parents, doing their blood sacrifices to their gods. They have evidence of these things. Yet still, no, they just quickly speak about it and it's over and no one is brought to justice. Right? Deny, deny, deny. It doesn't exist. Deny, deny, deny. Why is the government promoting so much evil? Why is the US government not brought to justice for flooding the black communities with drugs and controlling the minds of many to do evil deeds? They control your mind and give you a program, and whatever they do and snap, then you have to do what they program for you to do. Unless you come into awareness to override their program. This is the same thing that God has done to you, human beings. This is why they're so locked into this religion, seeing the evil that God is doing, that they are doing on behalf of God's. And no one is saying nothing. Everyone is following blindly. Oh, they want to be in this crowd. They want to be in this group with God. God is a homosexualist. God is a rapist, a blood drinker, a human. They eat when God take over them. They eat human flesh. They do all kind of crazy things, and they in their group are doing this. Why? Why are they not brought to justice? Why is it that and people will and just ignore this, and it keeps happening and keeps happening, and you don't think you can say to this government, we are gonna dissolve this government. It is not serving and benefiting the people. It is only here to benefit God. So go make a religion then. So the government is a religion. This is what they are doing. Scientists is a religion because they all are doing the same thing, working spells, doing all of these things. Scientists, the next level of evil human beings. Why are they not brought to justice for all the atrocities they are doing on humanity? It is so simple how to solve homelessness and food. It is so simple because I have experimented with this food thing to see how quickly it see. And I'm like amazed how one fruit give you so many seeds, and when you plant all of those seeds, how many fruits you have, and then this self-replication is crazy. So why every community don't have food everywhere? Why corporations and all of these evil ones are owning everything, and you have to go into a supermarket to buy some rotten food to eat when you should be there should be a farm where you go to get your food from it? Why is this like this? Because they want to rule and govern over subjects. So do you want your liberation? Do you want your freedom, or do you want others to rule and govern over you? You don't need anyone to rule and govern over you if you know how to be. So call out the emperor that is not wearing no clothes. Call him out. Don't be afraid. False beliefs. We all believe many things. Many of our beliefs are false. It is easy to be mistaken, right? Because sometimes you can get tricked and you mistake something, right? When other times, ones are deliberately feeding you lies. And so this is why you have to be vigilant, right? Often we can be persuaded, because this is what's happening now. When they spread lies and propaganda, they are trying to persuade you to come over on their topic so they can do all this slaughter and all of these atrocities, and you will agree with them and not say, this is wrong what you are doing. You grew up in those families that you have some family member raping little children in the family. This happened all the time. And the adults, they're not saying anything. Even sometimes if they find out that the child say, hey, my father or my uncle or whoever this person is in your family has raped me and is continually doing it, our stepfather or whatever. So they still don't believe, and they can see evidence to where the money is like up on the kids, them boys and girls, you know what I'm saying, and say you sense a vibe. And I say, I don't like that. I don't like the way you're interacting with these kids. I don't like this vibe. You can sense a vibe, you know what I'm saying. And so you ignore it, and you watch the child being sexually abused, and you pretend it away like it's not happening. We have to stop this. Call out the emperor that is not wearing no clothes, naked, ignorant and stupid. Call them out and make them stop doing this foolishness. Is because you are agreeing because you want to be with the superior, claiming superiority people, right? Because that's why nobody don't want to be inferior, because they want to all be inferior. So they want to move over to hang out with all the white people, because you know what? Because all the white people are superior, right? And they're running the world, right? So this is the same. I had a similar experience. When which I'm going to talk about later, of how you can do something and someone else take credit for it, right? Because just like how they have done in back many things that was created by the so-called black that they call inferior, but they took credit for it because what they had the money and they took credit, just like what Elon Musk is doing right now. It is very plain, right? He goes in, he takes over the corporation, right? And no sues to be saying that he is the one creating all the things. You know what I'm saying? Because he has the money to back people up, and this is what they've been doing, and they're claiming these things. You know, so freedom of speech, they want to take it away, right? And many ones don't want to stand up and fight for your freedom to speak, the right, the liberty included in our inalienable rights given to us by our Creator, right? They want to take this away because they want to claim that they are a democratic government, but they are tyrants, right? Look at the evidence. But they false beliefs. They are believing that they are democratic, right? And so because of our inalienable rights and by our self-intelligence within us is always encouraging us to always think for ourselves, question everything, look at the evidence, and be allowed to disagree and fight for our liberty and sovereignty, and not to be ruled by tyrannical barbaric government and regime, right? Because when I started facing the gods, them, because why, they were here battling with me, because they said Isis has risen. I know the gods, them, they have been fighting for eons for I not to rise. I know that I have risen. I had to face the battle with Set, known as the infamous devil, and It's also called the ram and the bull. So Set is the ram, and Set is the bull, and Yahweh is the ram, and he is known as Satan, right? And he also, they always steals other self identity, because he also stole the identity of thought and was calling himself thought. Like if you call on anyone, they will show up to you and trick you. And so, they call many different names. So when you're calling, there's a lot of confusions. But Yahweh is Satan, right? And they trick you and play many roles, right? And so when they were coming, when they both of them, I had to face them. And so when I was talking about this and talking about the gods, when I first started talking about the God, everyone was, started, oh, my God is gonna come and kill you, my God is going, this is what ones was sending me these messages, because all of their gods was coming attacking me. And so they had their human beings sending me messages, and that's when I did my first video on, I file a case against the gods them. And even the ones them around me that, I that grew up in the same human family as I, everyone was afraid. I said, why are you talking like this? You talking, God is created. I said, God did not create I. God is an imposter. God is I, duality nature. You have to see the things that God has done and say, this is wrong. This is a false belief in God. So what is happening in our world right now? How is our circumstances similar to that of the story? Let's take a look at the collective hypocrisy, right? The collective hypocrisy, all right? We hearing a lot of talk of weapons of mass destruction. Israel is claiming this, right? And they're saying, oh, Iran cannot have weapons of mass destruction. And I'm sure they're saying Africa can't have weapons of mass destruction, because they didn't start on South Africa yet to say, oh, South Africa can't have weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons, right? So Israel have, right? This is the hypocrisy, right? Israel have, all right. Is Iran going around terrorizing other countries? No, Israel is doing that, because Israel going every country. They have their intelligence, right? And they're in Africa. While you might not hear it, oh, it's Israel, yet they are there, because they are training all of those Arabs, because many of them, they look the same. Arabs, some of the Arabs, and some of, because they are white people, right? They are white people, right? So if you look at the Ayatollah, don't you see that's a white man? That's a white man, right? That's his culture, right? So a lot of them are, but the ones that who are right, descendants of the black, the original people that was over there in those lands, the original people that was over there in what they call the Middle East, were black people, right? And we had the Ottoman Empire, we have the Mongol Empire. When those ones came and took over there, right? They slaughtered those ones, many of them, and this is how you have, those mixture of one, and in many of those places you still had some, in a small community, some black people that you don't even know that they still live there, that this was a land ancient to them before the mixture, like you see how North Africa right now is taken over by the Arabs. They did the same thing. They invaded, they slaughtered everyone, and they took it over. This is what these egoic human beings have been doing for a long time. They have been doing this, all right? And it's time for it to stop now. So look at what they did to Syria, right? See what they did to Syria. Israel is because you see, one secret about all of them, these religions, is that they are all homosexuals. They all love to rape men and rape boys, and they don't want many people to know about this, right? But Islam, Israel, all of them, they're doing this. This is something that, to be in with God, you have to be this, because God is a masculine. God is not connected with any feminine energy, and this is why God does this, right? Now the gods are moving in alignment with their feminine self, because they have been in war with their feminine self for the longest. They've been enslaving the ionized in this dream, because the feminine is a different kind of energy, right? The neutron self in the shattered fractal state, right? That's there because they're in a fractal state. They're masculine and feminine, right? And they fight against their, because they're in a delusional mind, and their mind is crazy, right? So here we have all of these crazy human beings. The major crazy mad man right now is Israel Netanyahu. Yeah. Israel Netanyahu is mad, mad, mad. Let me tell you something. Set, the God, the devil, is a mad God. He's mad and crazy. All of the other gods, I'm afraid of him, because he's mad. Him do a lot of crazy things. And he's the one who is calling for slaughter and rape and all of these things. He's one of them. Because, you also had Lucifer, and you have Satan, but who is known as Yahweh, right? But the major one is the consciousness of this world, which is masculine set, because him mad. Him is a mad God. When I met him, his mind was sick, sick, sick. His mind was so sick, and I even asked Ra, can you give him another consciousness? The self, they gave light to him so that can help him. And he felt better, a relief from his mind. He was suffering from this massive headache, madness. You know what I'm saying? Distorted mind. His mind is completely sick. Right? He needs a new mind. And after he got eased up, he even told me thank you. And then he went out and he went back and did all the crazy stuff that he was doing before. See what I'm saying? So this is the consciousness. He got some healing and get some purification to his mind, but he didn't continue to keep going, like to do it himself, to be in stillness, to no, he went out and started doing this craziness, because the mind is rogue. It wants this, any kind of habit that you form, the mind always wants to fulfill these habits, right? So Israel have these bad habits right now and keep wanting to fulfill this, because it is not getting the satisfaction of how they were getting with the gods them before, because the gods them come, they have these sexual relationship with the gods, and they get these all this energy, and this ecstaticness, and so they need more slaughtering. This is what's happening. Okay, so Netanyahu, you need to go chill. Your ego is too big, and you need to still your mind. You're crazy, like you're crazy, stupid God. US have these weapons. What is it called again? Nuclear weapons. Russia have. Pakistan have nuclear weapons. Another war. Pakistan's another warmongering nation, right? Always fighting. They and India always fighting. But what India have? So if you are gonna bomb me, I'm gonna bomb you. All right. Pakistan have, India have to defend themselves, right? So you can't let Pakistan have nuclear. They would have taken over India already, right? Because this is the mentality of them, right? So who are you to bully others when you are the one terrorizing others and saying that they cannot have nuclear weapons? And you are the one who should not have it. You are the one terrorizing others. You're in Africa terrorizing Africa. You can't make the African them be or no always want to oppress others and keep them in bondage and slavery. You're over there now taking over, want to take over the land space that Iran has. You want to take over the underground space that Iran has. Greed. They want to take over the whole entire world, want to be supreme ruler. Israel wants to do this. And everyone, the Americans and their government is going along with Israel. Who are you to bully others and terrorize others? You have been the terrorist. Now they're calling for regime change. Because they always do this. They do this in Africa. They do this in the Caribbean. So they want everything that, any natural resources, they want to come in every land, and they want it for themselves. And want to make colonies out of every place. And then pretend like they are the good ones. Who made Israel, US, the West, and their allies supreme moral police when you are the most evil human beings, evil regimes, oppressing everyone in the world, don't want to see anyone rise up, even your own people in your own country, you don't want to provide for the basic need of them. Who are you? Because of false belief. This is the hypocrisy. It's time for seeing things as they are and calling it out, right? Because then if you do that now, then you become an enemy of the state of Israel and the West. You become their enemy of the US and their allies. You become an enemy when you are telling them what you are doing is wrong. Stop doing that. Then they classify you as an enemy of their state. And here they're saying no, because the Sahel nations are standing up and say, we want our sovereignty, we want our food. They say, oh, they are a threat to the US. How can they be a threat to you if they say, we want to be sovereign, we want to make our own food, we want to provide for our people and stop watching our people being in deprivation? And you're saying, oh, that is a threat to you. How is that a threat to you? This is the delusion of their mind and the hypocrisy. They want sovereignty for themselves, but they don't want other nations to feed their people. They want to live posh life, have food, do this, that. They don't want others to have this. And they believe that Israel is the chosen people of God and will inherit the earth and immortality. This is not happening. I am telling you, it is not happening, because the I want you self is not choosing evil and is not choosing its egoic state and any clones over its real self. Because you rise from me, you are a clone from I, because God can't create any human being by himself. I'm going to tell you plain and straight. Your God cannot create any human being by himself, because God is only the magnetic energy. And as you see in the world, only a woman can produce a real self, a real human being. Because anyone else, if you are produced, you are going to lack the basic necessity of that you need to connect with the real and the truth. You can only connect with the dream. If you are created, if one of the scientists creates you in here, like in their laboratory, then you do not have that necessity to connect with the I want true self. I am telling you this. And the evil that you are doing right now, you need to stop it because you don't know truth, right? I also know that because I know that Seth is this mind that is crazy. So like I said, there are lots of other human beings in the world who are real self. They are real. They have a real self. They are not just a clone. Um the reason why they're doing this evil is all because of their mind, like I am telling you about Netanyahu right now. His mind is crazy. He's a crazy human being. He's crazy, 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 right? So, just like his God, who is crazy and mad. So, it's not just the clones who are doing crazy things. You have real ones who belong to a real self, but they are in the egoic state, and because their mind is sick. Also, I want to make it be known that a lot of majority of the real selves are feminine, because there are some male, but there's not a lot of them in the world. There are mostly feminine energy, and feminine energy that is playing the role of a male in the world, and all the other men, and many of them that you see are created by God, and they are clones. All right, and so the hypocrisy must end, right? They're spreading propagandas and lies to hide the truth of the world. Like right now, they are spraying all these things in the sky because they don't want human beings. Like, you know how they have these tools that they use to observe the physical existence? When something is happening, they shut it down right away because they don't want other ones who are watching. You know, you have the not the professional so-called scientists, but just ones who have interest, and so they are observing this tool and they're seeing everything that's happening. And so what's happening is that they're shutting down the devices because they don't wants to see that the I self is here and is moving us into balance, right? So they're constantly spreading propagandas and lies, doing all this war, trying to rush to fulfill some prophecies that their God is saying. It's not happening because the I want true self want all of the I and I's to know truth. So if you are in lies and your mind is sick, for however long it takes, you are going to know truth. You are going to see that what you have done is wrong, and you are going to see how to be balanced with yourself and how to apologize to all for the evil that you have done. You are going to have to do this because the I want true self want all of the I self to know this. This is why this world is still going on like this. Because if it was up to me to say, yeah, I would have already dissolved and say I want to return right now, and all of this evil ends. But it is a process because all of the aspect of the self must learn this. It's a lesson that needs to be learned, and all of these evil human beings have not learned this lesson. They still think that they are superior over their other selves. All right, and they need to come into this truth and to humble themselves. All right, and so they're spreading these propagandas and lies. They're blocking, spreading all kind of stupidness into the atmosphere, trying to block the sun, fighting with the I self, the energies, who is here to restore balance, to help us go through this metamorphosis. All right, this metamorphosis is happening, and they can't stop it, right? So they can do whatever they want to do, kind of preparing people. They want to go to Mars, they want to go to this, they want to go. Now they are what they're doing now. They are building those space, because once they think that once they bomb the earth, then they can go into space and live into their space centers. Because now they can't go to Mars, they can't go to the moon, so they're building space centers. But their rockets is not going. Nothing is gonna leave from here now to go anywhere. I'm telling you this. The I self is gonna disable all of it. Yeah. So soon and very soon they're gonna have to start telling this truth, because how long are they gonna think they can hide this for? And then spreading their scare tactics, making threats to silence the truth seekers, and then making an example out of many by eliminating them to scare others off. All of this gonna have to stop, because like I said, that I want you pure self, want everyone to know truth, want for us to move together as one, to live in peace, to live in harmony. So they are holding this up for us. So that's why you have to call them out. If you don't call them out, it's just going to take a longer process. Call them out on their wrongdoing. Say you're doing wrong. Stop it. Your mind is sick. Practice stillness to still your mind. Right? So they believe that the ruling class must rule over their subject without any freedom. They can rape and murder babies in their sadistic rituals without any judgment. And they claim impunity and immunity, that they will not suffer any judgment from this. This is why they can do all of these things and everyone can just overlook it and not call them out. The emperor is not wearing any clothes. Israel is mad and crazy. Call him out. Don't you see his madness? This is madness. Just like many of those African presidents, many of some of the rulers them in other parts of the world. Crazy and stupid. But you can't call them out, because they come and you disappear, then disappear you. How long you think you can do this? How many millions of people? No, so if everyone is coming together and calling them out, they're gonna disappear all the millions of people. Let me see them do this. No, you have to do it together as a group. Call them out on their dementedness and say, hey, something is wrong with your mind. Pause and do some stillness. Turn your lens inwards. Purify your mind. Yeah, they believe that the ruling class must control the world and all must bow to them, or else they get bombed by their West emperor. They must pillage the resources only for themselves, and everyone else live in deprivation. This must stop. While the ruling class neglect the responsibility of the role that they were choosing to play. Donald Trump and all these governments all over. Why did you run in your democratic election and you at this point and you say, when I go in, this is what I am doing? You're a liar. You're a liar and you're a trickster. You said, this is what I am going to do. I want to be a president of peace. And that war should have never happened in Ukraine. Oh, this war, if I was president, that war wouldn't. But you're president now, and you're making a war happen in Iran that should never happen. Why? Why? Because Israel is putting a spell on you. Netanyahu is a major mind controller, and of course he have because he's been doing these blood sacrifices and sexual rituals with the gods them and have all of these ones. You have to enter into this before you can go into their government. You have to enter. They take all of the men and do this. You know what I'm saying? And they drug you and do all of these things. You can't trust them. Anything, they can't even allow them to give you anything to eat. I would never dare trust any of them to give me anything. And so he's moving away from that which he said he was doing, because he doesn't all these ones who are advising him, you know what I'm saying? So what? Yes, when you were young you did this because the gods them do this and they program one. Yes, you did this, but now you can make it right. Yes, you stand up to bullies. Israel is bullying you. Say, okay, I'm gonna share your videos with the world and talk. No, you know what? Go ahead. People, I'm telling you, people will back someone up if you have done something wrong, right? And you say, you know what? I did this when I was young. You know what? No, I am gonna choose the right path, because obviously ones are following all the evil that they are doing, and no one is saying nothing. So why not just own up to, I did this, and I'm not going to do that anymore. No, I'm going to make the right, because we know this, the mind, all the gods are mad and crazy. I know that. They are myself, and so I know this because I have been dealing with them for years. And I know that all of those aspects of myself are mad and crazy. And so, right, I want for them to get relief from their mind sickness, just like I want Netanyahu and all other human beings to get relief from their mind sickness. So you come, the I self is not going to hold anyone. Like God wants to punish you, not the I self. You say, I have, to my ignorance, I did these bad things, right? Now I am going to stay focused, practice my stillness. I'm going to keep my mind pure. Moving forward, I'm going to stay in the now and do the right choices for all the I and I selves, right? No need to allow anyone to blackmail you and to make you do bad things. And so I'm saying, shame on you. Shame on you. What's his name again? The president of the United States. I can't remember your name right now. Trump. Because you have put Netanyahu first. And here we have the American people that needs the community, food self-sufficiency. This is what needs to be happening in every community, where food forests everywhere, right? So there's food everywhere because this can happen because of self-multiplication, right? Where food forests everywhere, ones are going to farm to get food, and this is not operating and being controlled by those corporations. Stand up for, stop neglecting your responsibility of what you were choosing to play. Instead, they become narcissists and tyrannical rulers who does not provide for the basic needs of the people: water, food, clean water, shelter, and community life, community self-sufficiency. And so they're just in their ego. Oh, we have just bombed this, and like, come on. The collective hypocrisy. Who is the real criminal? Israel calling for war with Iran in spite of no nuclear weapons found, because they're using other weapons to fight them. They say, we don't need the nuclear weapons to fight you. We're gonna fight you with these weapons. But what they want is because they want the land. They want to wipe one out. Now they call it for regime change, because no, he wants to put this puppet there where he can take over the land, doing whatever they want to do, and taking the underground, because they all want to build their bunkers underground, taking over the whole world, taking over the resources, because they are creating an army to fight the I want you pure self. They think they can win a battle against the I want you pure self. These human beings, they're crazy. They're fighting on behalf of their gods. Not happening. The West calling for the continued plunder of Africa, even after they have conducted numerous coups and assassination of many African leaders who desire to provide for the basic needs of their people: clean water, food self-sufficiency, shelter, and proper community infrastructure. They don't want this to happen in Africa. They're saying that when African countries are doing this, it is a threat. It is a threat to them. How delusional can you be? The West constant plundering the resources of Africa, and not just Africa, all the nations in the world. Everywhere in the world they go and they do this. The US have military bases everywhere. So is France and England, military bases everywhere, and supporting all this evil through their organization, NGOs, and their aid that they're supposedly giving. The the World Bank and the Monetary Fund. Money is an illusion. What do I really need for life? The people need are still not being met in spite of all these regime changes. The same problem persists. Look at, we just had a regime change, right? From Biden to Democrat, from Democrat to Republicans. And here you go and you do the same thing that you accuse Biden of doing. You are doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing and making stupid excuses. The ruling class still choose tyranny, bullying, and war instead of improvements the lives of its citizens. On the other hand, these bully tyrants regimes are calling for regime change in other nations, blaming them for the same crime they are accusing other nations of. But they're not looking in the mirror and see how they are the one doing these things. And when you stand up to them, that's like, how dare you stand up to me and want your freedom? You are my slaves. So I am saying, who's gonna bring you to justice? Because I am calling for justice. I am calling for order to be restored. And I am saying that you have no impunity and you have no immunity. No, it is up to the people to take back their power given to government to rule over them. Why are you not standing up and taking back your power? Do you want to be continually ruled and governed by government? I am asking. It's time to stand up right now. False prophecy and false beliefs, right? So there was a talk with Tucker Carlson, and I think it's Ted Cruz is his name. That's a senator or somebody like that. Don't quote me on this name, but anyways, he's saying, when Tucker Carlson asking him, why are you choosing Israel over the American people? Why are you pushing for war? Right? He says that he grew up being a Christian, and his Bible tells him that God is going to bless those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And he wants to be with Israel to be blessed. This is the craziness of the mind. Look at his rationale. Look at his rationale. Because many of them, they don't want to speak the truth of all of, because they're all in cahoots with this rape and sexual violence of babies and children. This rituals that they do, they're all in cahoots of it. And so They have been programmed by the gods, and they literally, Netanyahu believed this because he's been possessed by the devil, and say that he's superior, he's chosen to rule over humanity, to take all over North Africa, and he's slowly want to move into Africa to take over all the resources and everything, because this is what they're doing. They have their people on the ground in Africa. All of the Arab nations, they do that, so they're getting their minerals. This is why these wars have been going on in the Congo for over 30 years for minerals, because all the Arabs are there, the different nations, Israel, the West, France, everybody, those corporations, they have their people there also. That is why many of them, they go to Africa to get to become millionaires, and then they come back here, and like, how did you become millionaires? Very, very questionable. And so they get the minerals, and now they can move out the gold, move out all these minerals out, and now they can fly in with their airplanes and fly out, and no one knows, while they blame the government over there. And now when you stand up, they say, oh, you're a threat. You're a threat to us. Look how far you are from where from where Africa is. They're a threat to you because they want to stand up and liberate themselves from oppression. And so right now, Netanyahu is fighting to fulfill their false prophecy that from the Bible, because they claim that God has given them dominion to rule over the earth. And so God is coming back to give them the earth for them to live here and have immortality. It's not happening. It's not happening, because we are going to move from here into balance, and you will not be a part of that balance. I am telling you, all evil human beings who are not doing the right thing, you will not be moving into the new world. You will not be there. You are going to be on this journey to learn to know truth. While we are moving to go to a balanced world, you are going to be learning that all is yourself, that the evil that you have done, you must apologize and make right for it. Yeah. So this is what many are fighting for, this false prophecy that their God has prophesied. But the I want you pure self is the one that knows all and know how this world is going to move into dissolution and all the process, and that's going to happen. So this consciousness have been going rogue and making its own prophecy and doing these things, but the self is here to put balance. Because we must remember that this is a holographic world, this is a dream world. The I self is sleeping, dreaming, and projecting it out. It is not real. It is a projection from the I mind, and it is the movie virtual reality world, because the I is wearing this device, and we have entered into this projected world. Right? This is a dream creation being projected by the consciousness of the I self, entranced in the sleeping, dreaming state. It's time to wake up. False claims and prophecy. I have to talk about these things because who else is standing up to the gods? It is my destiny, and so it's not easy, but I have to do what I need to do, right? False claim and your belief that God give you power to rule over the world. What an audacity, right? You don't see all as yourself. You say you're superior. Don't you see this is your ego talking? You don't even realize that there's something wrong with your mind when these thoughts are rising. down to the youngest of human child, 5-year-old. They know this, they see this, they observe this pattern, and you don't observe it. How dare you, deranged ego characters, wanting to rule over others with tyranny and bullying and rape and sodomizing them and treating one with such, oh man, such horrendous, I don't have the right words to treat how these human beings have treated ones. It is so sad. So look at this. Yeah, I cry. The I self cry. You know this. The I self cry. The I self cry when the I self see the suffering and knows the suffering that the I and I, because the feminine suffer the most, because the gods them fight against their feminine self, and that's why they treat the feminine in the world like this. And that's why God can program all the men, because the God is creating them, cloning from the real selves in the world and giving them a lot of consciousness energy, so they have more of the consciousness energy, because they created from that more magnetic energy that's been mixed into their DNA. All right. So when they take the egg from the woman and they mix it with God's DNA and all these things, because they cannot do it without the woman, the real self, right? And so this is why many of these ones, they don't have any sympathy, because they are in an egoic state 100%, like Netanyahu. They're only for their own interests, their own egoic interests they have for. So they cannot feel and see, because they're programmed into this lie. All right. How to deal with bullies. Your God is a supreme bully, and so are you. All of these crazy rulers in the world, there are many of them in Africa, that one in Nigeria, and some other ones, supreme bullying others, disappearing ones, then some ones all over different parts of the world, disappearing ones when you talk. Supreme bully Netanyahu, supreme bully the American government, supreme bully CIA, FBI, all these ones are secretly they're monitoring me, but they can't come close to I, because I am not under your jurisdiction. I am not under your jurisdiction. Don't you dare. Can't interrogate I am not under your jurisdiction. I am the one, true pure self, baby self, fractal, fragmented in this state. Yeah. You and your God is delusional and sick in the mind. Your God is literally a crazy God. He has a major mental sickness, just like all these ones. Murderers. That's what you guys are. God has promised to give you land as your inheritance. Therefore, you go about annihilating ones to capture the land and the resources for you. Stop it. You need to come to truth. Stolen identity, false self-identity. Who stole whose identity? This is the major problem, right? You're going about claiming that you are the Israelites of the Bible. The Israelites that they spoke about in those stories, they're taken from the walls of Kemet, and taken from the caves, and taken from many of the books that was written and writing about the stories of the ones them that came. And you guys are taking these stories and claiming that you're not the same ancient people. You are not the same. And so you want all allegiance to this tyrannical state called Israel. It's not the same as the people who came. Those people are scattered all over right now. Yeah, that became all the nations of the world. This is just completely crazy. So no, all the INIs who are observing this, what are you going to do? Are you going to see things as they are and speak about it? Right? So you turn the question to yourself, am I thinking for myself? We should not believe everything we are told without thinking about and looking at the evidence. Am I asking the right questions? This does not seem right. What does my good judgment and conscience say? Am I being honest with myself? Am I looking at the evidence? What does the evidence say? Look at the evidence. Don't follow blindly. Don't join the bandwagon just because everyone, they're going to say, oh, you're not a part of the cool kids, the popular kids, the superior kids, the chosen kids, the chosen human beings. No. Look at the evidence. Time to have no fear. I am brave. Yeah, you gotta self-talk yourself in this illusionary world. I will stand my grounds for my sovereignty principles. It is my inalienable rights to liberty and the pursuit of my self-truth and sovereignty. I now take self-responsibility. We have to do this because what? We are the self in the body. We are the self in the body. So who's going to take responsibility and call out when the emperor is not wearing any clothes? You want us to believe all these things. You're spreading propagandas and lies and say, oh, if you don't join Israel, you're anti-Semite. You're a communist, you're a this, you're a that. No, it's time to call out ones on any stupidness that they are doing. Can you think for yourself? Can you see what's right in front of you? What will the eye choose? Do you see the evil that the gods have done, the ones have done in the names of God, and you still holding on to gods? Can you think for yourself? The ego's journey versus the real self journey. You are into this ego and you're fulfilling all the ego desires, but there's a real self to you. There's a real self to you. Are you going to choose your real self? Are you going to stay in ignorance into this egoic state? Are you going to move to your real self journey? When you are looking with your eyes, what do you see? What do I see? I see human sacrifice game being implemented by Israel on behalf of their demented, tyrannical, and narcissistic gods. Because everybody wants power. So when they call the gods and the gods come and they do their sexual things and they get all this energy and they do all these things and yeah, and God makes promise to them, you get all these human beings and you slaughter all these ones and you know what I'm saying, and you make sacrifice to me, then I will give you the earth, I will give you the world. So that's why he's going on, want to claim Iran, want to claim all of what they call the Middle East world, which is the over there in what was also part of Africa. All right, so now they're gonna slowly move in to the other northern part of Africa, to Egypt and to the other parts where the Arabs them are taking over from the Africans, and push the Africans out of there, because that's what Egypt did. They took over there the Arabs, and they pushed out all of the Africans from Egypt, All right, and now they want to push them entirely out of Sudan. They want to push them. This is what this war has been going on. They want to get all of Sudan's natural resources. Do you know how many pyramids is in Sudan? Yeah, they are constantly making ruin of all of those pyramids in Sudan, where you actually go in there where they could not have gone, and you know how they go into Egypt and they color over all of those black beans that was painted on the wall. When you go into Sudan and you see those same black beans painted in the pyramids, painted in the caves, painted everywhere, right? They want to take over all of Sudan. This is crazy. I see warmongers believing they are chosen by God, this evil entity, to fulfill some sadistic prophecies. I see the I, supreme ego, narcissist, the consciousness, also called Christ consciousness, and many holographic characters deceiving human beings. Because when ones are calling on, they say they're going into, what's it called? Not remote viewing, they're going into some kind of a trance or something, and they're calling on these gods, but it's really the consciousness is projecting through holographic these characters. You know, all of these characters that they are meeting, they don't exist. It's just a hologram. It's a holographic characters that is the consciousness is talking to, is projecting this imagery of someone, and they're in the consciousness. It's like, no, everybody's turning, AI is becoming their god. Everyone is turning to AI now, asking AI question, because you see, they're asking AI, they're asking the consciousness. Consciousness is projecting these beings that don't exist. It's just a hologram. It's just a hologram. All of those ones are doing this and saying, oh, this, I don't even know, the Ontorians, the this, the that. These beings do not exist. This is just a hologram from consciousness. All right? This consciousness, if you can understand how tricky this consciousness is, so tricky, so deceiving. If you know, you would just be staying in stillness, because this mind, its goal is to deceive you at every point. Its mission, and it is doing the best job of deceiving everyone. And so the I self, the I want you, pure self, want everyone to eventually come to this. This is why this process is so long. So all of those ones, they're gonna have to come to this. We are one. We must be in peace. All right, and all is one self, and that the mind is pure. I see impure mind. I see sick, delusional beings entranced in their imaginations. Get out of your imagination, because the thing that you are imagining is not true, and it's not the real. All right, it's not true and it's not the real. Get out of your imagination. All right, who is the real criminal? I already explained all of that. All right, all of these ones who are making all these projections, and they are the crazy ones. These governments ruling all the human beings over the world. If you go to so many different countries, you go to Malaysia, you go to so many names all over the world, in Asia, all over, and the ones are living in such deplorable condition. You go into those ghettos. Who made those? These ones, they travel all over there, and they get little children that they were having sex market with. This has been going on for a long time, and it must stop. Everywhere all over the world they are doing this, raping little children and little babies. All of these men, these politicians, and these people from Europe, from France, from America, these soldiers, they go into these countries, and what they do, they rape little boys and little girls. Stop it. You are the real criminals. How the I ego and the ego clones take credit for the work that I real self has done. And this is what's happening. For example, the ego supreme characters, they take credit for the work that I, the feminine mother, parent self, has done. Right? The I illuminates, the illuminated ones. Right? The I, the balanced ones. So all of these gods that many ones are calling on, they are pretending to be the real to trick you. Stop calling on gods. Stop calling on these crazy beings, and align with yourself. Call the soul and be staying focused on stillness. Don't even call it anyone. Just keep focusing on purifying your mind in stillness. All right? Because they are tricksters, right? They take credit. You have, this happened to me when I was many times, you know. Saturn would come. That's the one they call the Holy Ghost, the one that plays the Holy Ghost when one gets into spirit. That is feminine, right? She was in the egoic state. She also pretend that she was the real self, right? So when I'm calling on my um, parent self, she would show up, and I would have to ask, "Are you the real self?" And many of them would do this, right? So if you are not staying vigilant to know that these gods and these dualities will trick you, so, and they take credit for the things that has happened in the world, the good things, they take credit for it, while they are the ones creating the chaos. The I, the illuminated masculine, Shiva, Heru, I've been illuminated, and what? Who took credit? The one called himself Jesus Christ, deceiving human beings to give them their soul. They do this. They do this to deceive ones. All right. So all of these is our masculine self. The Shiva Shambho, who came as Osiris, Asar. Yes, these are illuminated ones. The Shiva Shambho is the I masculine self that helps assist the I, because he's the same energy as a Set. Actually, they are brothers from the same self as men. So it's Amen self is Set, is Shiva Shambho, is the one called I don't know his other name, but he's also called Gabriel, the Archangel Gabriel. So they have different names, and sometimes I get a little confused because the mind is always confusing me. So and so these are all the selves of men. All right. And so, but they were sleeping while Shiva Shiva Shambho, Osiris, when he and Set had the battle, and he came back in the world, but he came back as a human being. He did not come back in the God state. He came back as a human being, and that was when he became illuminated and traveled around the world. Everywhere in Asia, you will see him with those little curls in his hair. That's him. That's the first Buddha. He is the first Buddha. You see him with those little curls, Afro with a flat nose, African with the little curls in his ear. Yeah, he was the first Buddha, and his other baby self came as the next Buddha. Many other Buddhas came, but his self came as Buddha Gautama, his baby self. But Shiva Shambho was the first Buddha. And so this is why he moved around the world, and so teaching all of the Ionis, and leaving these truth, that we would be able to come to truth. But then after centuries, everything got mixed up. The truth got mixed up with lies told by the consciousness, and a lot of things got distorted. Yeah, so these are the INI self that is illuminated and is fighting the battle on the INI behalf. All right, and so all the other gods, they try to steal their identity and to the gods, they take credit for the I self, the soul. All right, so when the soul is doing something for you, and then God, it was so good, so God is so good to you, but it's not good to others. God is biased. Don't you see? God is biased. So it's yourself that is working stuff for you, for you to have a pure mind. But many ones, they like to go to beg God for stuff, then God will give them some physical things, and then say, what you gotta do? You gotta give me your soul to put it in slavery. And so they'll rather choose things of the world and put their soul in slavery. All right. And so I want to share an experience that I had when I was in Mexico, of how they bring this down to same thing with the human beings. Like I was saying, that everybody want to associate with the popular kids, the white people, the ones, the chosen ones, all of this. So when I was traveling to Mexico, and one had invited me to go to this. We went to this like a restaurant inside of a cave, and I was doing stillness in there because the guy had invited me to do some stillness, and he was doing some tour with ones, and when he was finished with the tours, he was bringing them to me to do stillness. And so when I was in the cave, and I was sitting doing the stillness and was just doing my affirmation, and so some ones was on the other side, and they heard me, and they came to see, like, what was this powerful energy that was just moving. Because when I sit, if I'm doing a session with ones, you will get to feel the energy of how it is. It's different from when I'm doing it, doing something on the over the phone, even though if I can still do that with one-on-one over the phone too, or in a group. But it's kind of different, the way the sound comes to you when the bowls are being played. And so I was using the bowls, and I was singing, the song I was singing while I was playing the bowls. And so these ones heard me, and they came over, and it was like, oh my goodness, I was hearing this sound, and then this just moved me, and this energy, and they were just explaining to us. They came to join what we were doing. And so they was explaining, like how how they were feeling, and now the music just made them calm. They just felt this power, this great presence. So they came to investigate. So anyways, one of the guys was saying, there was a sister friend that was there. She's a white, in a white skin, human being. And he was saying, the Mexican guy was saying, oh, that the guy should telling me that she should do it, because everybody wants everybody wants the white people, you know what I'm saying. So he was trying to give credit now for what I am doing, to give credit to for this person to take over from me, so that they could show a face of a white person, you know what I'm saying. And so I said to him, there's no one who can take the place of I said. You know what I'm saying? No one can take the place of I said. Everybody have their own role and their place into this existence. But there's no one to take my place. I am telling you this. So I cannot take your place. You cannot take my place. My destiny is set. My destiny is set. So she cannot play my role for me. Okay? So if anyone who doesn't want to see the truth, because if you don't want to see the truth in this black face, then too bad, because they did not see my face. They were away in another part of the restaurant, and they heard me. They heard me, and they came to investigate who is singing like this, who is doing this. So how can someone else come to take credit for what is coming forth from I? You see what I'm saying? So this is something that happened all the time. All the time. They are taking credit. Either the gods are taking credit for something one of the real selves are doing, or other human beings, because they are taking credit, just like many things black people have done into this world. I am always going to talk about the blacks, because why? If you come into this body and you were an original being, and you see the propagandas and lies that have been spread all over the world, they hate the blacks. Why? They have, and everywhere you go all over the world, in a short corner, you'll find the original people, a small group of them now, because the majority of them have been wiped out, but you will find what they call the Negrito group. In every culture all over the world, you will find the original to be these dark-skinned human beings, right? So why is it that you don't want to see that all arise from this? Why don't you want to see that and say it and speak the truth? You want to continue to spread propagandas and lies, and then take credit for something that you did not create, or you did not do. Just like what Elon Musk is doing. He's a big example in the world right now. He's taking credit for things that he did not do, and he's not doing, because he's not the one doing those rockets and doing those this. Who is doing it? Investigate and ask these questions. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he have money. Where did he get his money from? Because what? They see all that minerals in Africa. All right. So ask question and dig deep to see the root of things, right? But no one can take the I destiny. No one can play this role that I am playing. I am the one standing up to the gods. I am the one being brutal, but because my destiny is set, and so I had to make that clear to them. I was like, no, she cannot. If I am doing this, I am gonna sit here and do this stillness, and people are going to feel and see the real, but no one can take my place. You know what I'm saying? But this is the way that it is. Everything is a deception, because everybody wants to follow and want to be a part of, the lies and propaganda that's been told. And they have been doing this for a long time. And so, to reiterate, the emperor is not wearing any clothes. Call them out on their foolishness, right? They must be put to shame. Shame on you. Shame on you, President Trump, for going to want to bomb Iran when you know Netanyahu is lying and he is trying to blackmail you, and they controlling your mind, to all of those government doing these crazy things. Shame on you. Who will stand up and state the obvious about their government and their gods? You'll see the evil that God has told you. God has told you many lies. Give me your soul and I will give you all the world. Why would God want that? Why would God want your soul in exchange for giving you riches? God say, okay, go gather little babies and let's slaughter them in sacrifice. Let's drink their blood. Let's do all these things. And in a secret society. Who will call them out? It's time now. No time to choose evil, because the I self is here as a witness. I am a witness. The I self is here as a witness. All right? Only those who choose right will participate in the new world, the balanced world. And so, I file a case against all gods. I file a case against all the I false self and the I ego clone, with the I and I, the one true pure self on manifest non-being. Bringing my case in front of the I one true pure self on manifest. I alone exist, non-being. I file a case against all these gods, and I am charging you with you have committed a crime against the I one true pure self on manifest. Your mind is corrupt and your hands is soiled with blood and iniquity. It's time to humble yourself and calm your ego down. Take a look in the mirror of all your crimes against the I and I. And I command that you return from whence you came. You have no immunity, you have no impunity. What are the lessons that you need to learn? It's time to turn your lens inwards to know truth. Your age of rulership is over. Consciousness, your age of rulership is over. Netanyahu, your age of rulership is over. All these governments, US, France, the UN, your age of rulership is over. Your time is up. It's time to humble yourself now. I'm filing a case against all of these evil human beings. Because what? I see the evil and atrocities that you have done, and I am calling you out on your wrong. You are doing wrong. What kind of ruler have you been? What footprints are you leaving behind? I file a case against the gods, all the ideal egoic nature in ignorance that has imprisoned I and I for ages. I file a case against the I supreme ego, aka the infamous consciousness, the mind of the world that has gone rogue and demented, deceiving all the I and I, the real. I file this case with the I one true pure self on manifest. I alone exist. I file a case against the human beings and all the I human clones. I and I stand in union against the I, the supreme ego consciousness, known by many names. I and I stand in union against all the I dual nature. I and I stand in union against all evil human beings committing atrocities and slaughter against I and I taking human form. I and I stand against the ones spreading propagandas and lies. I and I stand against your rulership and governance. I am sovereign and you have no power over I. I am not under your regime. You are not fit to rule and govern. I and I taking form in this human. You are cocooned in ignorance and delusion. You are a dream, egoic, evil, demented character and must be dissolved. I and I stand against all evil human beings, calling for war and destruction of others. Do you want the same fate for yourself? You don't. So why are you doing this to others? The golden rule, do unto others as you would like to do unto you. I and I stand against your human sacrifice to your gods. I and I stand against human rulership of mind control and food control. I and I stand against all the I clones and ego false selves on the hunt to eliminate the Black Messiah, advocating for sovereignty and food self-sufficiency. I and I stand against our government, technocrats, or scientists, the nefarious bankers, and all their allies, enslaving ones in their barbaric system and regime. I and I stand against them, sodomizing and raping us. What are you doing? It is wrong. It is wrong. You have no impunity. You have no immunity. You will be judged by your actions. You will enter the court of the I One True Pure Self unmanifest. I alone exist. All human beings must be made to come into awareness of what they have done. All human beings must be dissolved to return to their ultimate true state. Victory, victory. I stand against human rulership, slavery, rape, warfare, sodomy warfare, drug warfare, biologic biological warfare, sonic warfare, nuclear warfare, dark matter weapon warfare, magnetic weapon warfare. I stand against all mind control warfare and all indoctrinations. I stand against all the gods. I stand against all government, the ruling class, exploiting and oppressing other human beings. I stand against all corporation, oligarchs, and all scientists, exploiting all the land and resources for their own egoic gain, and then charging us for the natural resources provided from our Mother Nature. How dare you? Who do you think you are? I stand against all evil regime and bully culture. I bear witness to the evil and atrocities committed in the name of your gods, and I command that this evil be dissolved and be no more. Time to end evil. I advocate now on behalf of all the the real selves, the real. Therefore, I command my liberation from tyrannical rulership and mind control. I demand the I liberation from this sleeping, dreaming state. I demand for this dream to end. I dissolve this dream. I demand and command this evil system of government to be dissolved and end now. How dare you want to continue to hold I in slavery? You have no right. I command all evil ends now. Everything that I have created, I demolish. I dissolve all my demons, and I dissolve all my monsters. I dissolve all I clone selves. I dissolve all I egoic nature. I dissolve all I ego false selves. I dissolve I supreme ego consciousness and all I supreme ego false selves and clones. As I have commanded, so let it be. So shall it be. It is done. It is so. Victory, victory. I am victorious. I am triumphant. No more secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. All things hidden will be made known. All things done in secrets will be revealed. All things created must be destroyed. This is the age of truth, and it's time for self-responsible authority. Resist temptations and be vigilant. No fear. Self-triumphant over ego. Good triumphant over evil. And self-truth triumphant over ignorance. The real triumphant over the dream. Victory, victory. All is myself, and I am all. I alone exist. It is I playing all of these roles, and I take self-responsibility. This says that I One True Pure Self, unmanifest non-being. I alone exist. I bow to all I and I in self, in light and in truth. Victory, victory. And so I want to say, out of many, we are one, because out of one self, came many. Look how many ones. Remember I say self-replication. Self-replication. This is how there's so many of us here. Because of self-replication. The self is replicating, right? Making a seed, making more, making a baby self, making, replicating itself. So, all right. From one came many. And so we need to know this. We need to go back to self-unity. All right. We need to go back to the real truth. It's time for self-unity. Victory, victory. This is the only way that you are going to move on to the new world created for us to explore. You cannot go doing evil. I am telling you this, it's not happening. So it's time to start doing the right thing. So I want to briefly talk about this antagonism within I, because what is my one most important desire? I desire to relieve this antagonism within I. What is that? This is this mind, the ego, the narcissistic state of being of the ego. All right. And so many of the INIs is just in this narcissistic kind of behavior. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to ask, why are so many following a deranged and demented sociopath, a psychopath? Right? Can the I be closed in humility and honorable action towards all the I and I in the body avatar? Can you see all as the I self? Do the I know how to still your demented, impure mind? Do you know how to stop the incessant chattery of your mind? Do you know how to be a self-knowing human being? And so what I'm going to do next is to do a stillness exercise. And so I encourage all the INIs to do this daily. All right. So I'm going to read this and explain here. And on the next page, I am going to play a tune for about 8 minutes. And you just have to sit. Look at this black dot, right? Stillness challenge. Can you sit and still your mind for 30 minutes or more? We're not going to do 30 minutes. We're just going to do 8 minutes of this by playing this tune. And you're just going to sit until the tune ends. But on your own, you can come back to the end of this video and do this. I am also going to put up a video just with this only tomorrow, so you can just come back and look for that video. Stillness is about taking command of the I mind. How do I cultivate my mind? It is quite evident that impurities and confusion arises from the I mind. So please recite this affirmation. I am not my thoughts. I am not my mind. I am not my body. Mind, be still. I am in command of my mind. Mind, be still. Be still. All right, so this is the first part of it that you're going to say this affirmation here. And you're going to stare at the black dot right here and clear your mind of all thoughts. So we're going to move to the next page and do this, because I always want to do something so that ones who are going through these impurities in their mind, they can engage. And so for this week, I think I am going to do this like once a day. Just come online and go live and see if anyone wants to join me for like 30 minutes to do this. But today we're just going to do the staring at this for like about 8 or so minutes until the song ends, all the vibrations. All right, so shoulders up, back straight, nice and tall, and so let's do this let's get the music.